The title of this video is exactly what I've been calling it to everyone who will listen. Assassin's Creed Viking Simulator is the best description for it. I do know there's a lot of the fan base who don't really like this and pretty much all of the Layla arc, if you will, because of those RPG elements that were added. And I understand it. If, you've grown up with the first ones and you've enjoyed that gameplay, this shift might not work for you. Totally understand. But you just don't play them. That's how it works. No one's forcing you. But I always bounced off the earlier ones, to be honest. I had to watch catch-up videos for most of them. I've completed 3 and Syndicate and the Layla arc. That's what I've done, because I just do not like some of the missions in early ones where it's like, follow these people, eavesdrop on them, but you're going to go through a sometimes terribly coded AI crowd that will block you off, and all of a sudden, because you've missed just a crucial bit of that eavesdropping, we're going to make you do the whole thing again from the start, including the chase bit before or something. That always annoyed me, and that's why I've not completed too many before the RPG elements were added. Not being forced into stealth, not being forced to have to do things in a very specific way. I don't believe in the get good mentality. I think accessibility in gaming is brilliant. And not forcing people to do very specific things to get through a story is always going to win favour with me. So that's why I've liked these. You can... there is an element of get good, because when you start any of these newer ones, you are weak, you are underpowered, you are under-equipped. So you have to be good to get the levels. Getting levels and getting stronger is your reward for getting better. It's not we'll get to the end and you'll be so overpowered, you'll beat everything, because level scaling was also introduced. So you can tailor that to that everything will be at your level. You can tailor it so it's a little bit behind. You can tailor it so it's 20 levels ahead if you're a complete glutton for punishment. If you're the person who wants that get good mentality, you want to constantly challenge yourself to ridiculous levels, it's in here. So it's very accessible, and I love it. I normally hate the Ubisoft model of, here's a map with a million things, go and tick them off. There's so many times that I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I'm getting through the story. I will sometimes do some of the side stuff when I'm, new games, excitement. But once I'm to a certain point in, I'm like, okay, just get me through the plot. I don't want to chase down the map, getting everything. But here, England is pretty much clear of all notifications, same as Norway and a lot of other places, because it just worked for me. I loved the mysteries, I loved all the little bits and pieces, I love getting all the wealth, obviously to get better equipment. It's in your best interest in the ingots to improve that equipment. Going on the raids so you can actually improve your settlement, which will then enable you to do more stuff and get more stuff. Hunting down the order so that you can get better on that. All of these things just worked for me. I wanted to pretty much do everything, and I pretty much did. I got very close. The only things I really hated, and it was the same in Black Flag with the sea shanties, were the floating bits of paper for, tattoo designs and the like. I did not do that. I did a few in Norway, but that was it. But like I say, I hate that thing, but I was compelled to do it because it just worked. Something about this worked, and I'm not going to say that it's perfect. The textures are sometimes really muddy, even when I've got a new graphics card with more video RAM, so it can't be that. I just don't understand why sometimes textures were so awful. And it wasn't consistent. Sometimes there'd be 3 people in a scene, one would look super crisp and clean, one would be somewhere in the middle, and one would just look like it was like PS1 era textures. So I'm not saying this is a perfect game. There are times that it just decided, do you know what? Whilst you're riding your horse to wherever you're going, I'm just going to crash. Hope you weren't doing anything important. Bye. And I persevered with that. There were times I nearly gave up, but I was like, no, let's boot it back up, see if it happens again. I tweaked things in the settings just to make sure. I played with graphic settings so much just to try and make it less of a demand, so it would hopefully be more stable. Weirdly, borderless seemed to work to make it a bit more stable for the most part. But even with those issues, I wanted to keep playing this. I enjoyed my time with Eivor, and yes, I've chosen the picture behind me because I was playing female Eivor. I didn't do the one where it flips. But I've always loved Norse mythology as well. Maybe that's helped. So being able to see Norse mythology through an Isu lens was interesting. And I like the echo. Throughout the game, the animus anomalies show what happened, like the real version of Ragnarok, technically. But if you play through some of the sort of vision quest missions, as it were, you see the mythological version. And it's done exactly the same. Like, the motions are the same, throwing down instead of the faceplate, something else, you know. All of this, and I was like, whoa, that was just a moment of, there's care and attention gone into this. People have put effort in here. And the fact that once you've been playing it for a while, you start to see that Tyr looks a lot like Sigurd, etc. And when you realise that, you know, this idea of this reincarnation, and you are a rebirth of Odin, Basim is Loki reborn, all that kind of stuff. I love the world building, and I want to play Mirage because I want to see the conflict of Loki inside Basim, like that war for control in them before they kind of reached whatever kind of level they are in Valhalla. I want to see that, but I'm worried because they've listened to fans who are like, I want it like the ones I grew up with, as though changing a game series removes all of the love that you had for what came before. You still had those memories. That was still part of your childhood or whatever. You've still played those games and spent the time with them and enjoyed them. Just let things evolve and change over time. And okay, this is me kind of almost saying the same thing, isn't it? You want to move away from the RPG stuff that I've loved for the past few. But it's the reason they're doing it that I disagree with. Pandering to a vocal minority, I think, for the most part. I think a lot of people just play the games and go, yeah, it's fine. But there are those vocal ones who just petition and cause so much of a problem that they're just like, fine, just shut them up. Do what they want. And I do not agree with that. I do not like that mentality. I think it needs to stop. But that said, if they don't completely strip everything out, if they make it like the old ones that I bounced off, then I'm just going to watch it on YouTube. You will not get the money off me, you know. But that's future me's problem. I love the setup for that they did with, you know, the last chapter. I like the tie back to the Cassandra arc, you know, with the Isle of Skye stuff. Like, so much here that I really, really enjoyed. 200 hours and change. I don't feel was wasted. It's been a long while since I've spent that amount of time in a game world. I started in, I think, December and finished in February. And also whilst doing uni as well, which impacted my free time. But I still managed to put a lot of time in because I wanted to. I wanted to get through this game. I wanted to know what happens at the end. Why was Eivor buried in North America? So yeah, I've loved this game. And about halfway through, I was like, I need to review this. I need to talk about this because I've enjoyed my time with it so much. The only thing that I didn't do was the Dawn of Ragnarok DLC. I didn't like you got to get special powers to get around certain things. I'm like, oh, no, do not like that. I know a lot of people really like that, and looking at it on paper, I would probably enjoy it. But I think I need a break. I need to get away from it, maybe come to it fresh, maybe down the line. My cloud save is still there with the data, so I can always dip back in. I mean, if people are, you know, feel free in the comments to say, yes, play Dawn of Ragnarok, because if you enjoyed the base game, you will enjoy it. Get through that issue of the needing specific skills. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this, if you couldn't tell. But that's all I want to say about it, because otherwise this will go on for like hours. So I hope you join me for whatever's coming next, but until then, as always, thank you for watching, and take care.